Thank you for joining us for our 2:30 streaming show. I'm Robinson Miles. Sadly, of course, it is just Robinson Miles here today. Jamie is out and about doing important things, taking a day for herself, so you are stuck with just me. Again, sorry about that. But we do have a lot happening around the tri-state right now, so let's go ahead and jump right in. First things first, one of the things that we've been following in one form or another for some time is gas prices. Now, those are in Indiana are going to see things change just a little bit. Now, Indiana Governor Mike Braun is offering Hoosiers some relief at the pump. Governor Braun announced a 30-day suspension of the state's 7% gas tax on fuel. The governor called on gasoline retailers to deliver the tax relief directly to consumers and noted that state leaders will be patrolling the pumps. Governor Braun also called on the Attorney General to enforce protections from price gouging by retailers. So again, something that we know has been on a lot of people's minds. This is something that we're going to be, again, continuing to keep our eye on as it starts to take effect. Now, for our next story here, settling in on Evansville. An Evansville man is facing drug dealing charges. Now, police say they bought meth in controlled buys from Kyle Veach a couple times before arresting him. Officers say during that arrest, Veach had meth on him as well as a large amount of cash. Police say he admitted to dealing large quantities of the drug. Officers say they also found more meth and a gun at his home on Basin Street in Newburgh. Now, for our last story here today, this is one that's going to somewhat important for everybody because, of course, one of the main things as the weather starts to get a little bit warmer, we know that road construction is really settling in. So to make things a bit safer out there, they're unveiling a new technology for road workers in Indiana. Now, crews are working on State Road 69 near the Black River Bridge, but instead of holding signs directing traffic, there's an automated system operated by an INDOT employee inside the cab of a truck. Now, it keeps the workers safe and still controls the flow of traffic. Now, of course, we're going to have more information on that a little bit later. Our Leslie Chapman took a closer look at that today. So tonight on 14 News, she'll be able to go in a little bit more detail on how this works, how they're implementing it, and all that good stuff. So that's going to round out our news portion for you here today. Of course, we know that as this weather keeps changing, that's the main thing people want to talk about. So we do have someone waiting in the wings who knows a lot more about it than myself. That beloved Mr. Michael Fecco will be here in just a moment to tell us a little bit more about what we can expect over the rest of the week. So stick around.
Stay informed on your local news and weather throughout the day by watching the 14 First Alert streaming shows. At 8:30 a.m., get your First Alert forecast to plan the day ahead and catch up on the news that happened overnight with the 14 News Sunrise team. In the afternoon, get the latest headlines, forecasts, and a preview of the stories we're working on with the 14 First Alert streaming show at 2:30. And get an in-depth look at the 14 First Alert forecast so you're ready for the next big thing with the 14 First Alert weather show at 9 p.m. Watch the 14 First Alert streaming show that fits your schedule and works best for you. Streaming on your phone by downloading the 14 News app and the 14 First Alert weather app. On your smart TV by using the 14 News streaming app. And stream anytime on Facebook, YouTube, or on 14news.com. Stay connected and stay informed by watching the 14 First Alert streaming shows on your favorite streaming devices.
Good afternoon, it's meteorologist Michael Fecco. Welcome back to the 2:30 afternoon news and weather update. We are now on to the weather portion of the show here. We're going to get started right along with our headlines and what we're tracking out the next couple of days. Well, it's going to be mild out there through the next couple of days. In addition to that, we've got a few clouds streaming in this afternoon. Most of them are higher level clouds, those wispy cirrus clouds, so we're not expecting the sun to be blocked out, but it will be a little bit filtered as we go through the rest of this afternoon. And then headed into the end of the week and into this weekend, we've got a frontal boundary that's going to be dropping in from the north, and that'll bring us our next best chance for at least a few spotty showers, maybe an isolated thunderstorm, and then heat continues to build over the weekend, and we're looking at potentially record-breaking heat by the time we get into Sunday. And then next week, we've got more unsettled weather on the way, especially Monday through Wednesday. Looks like we'll have a couple of frontal boundaries and some storm systems moving through that'll bring in multiple chances for some showers and storms. But let's get started here with a look at what's going on out there across the United States. It is fairly quiet. We've got some showers down across portions of Florida. That is what's been prompting some of those flash flood watches, especially along the eastern half of the state. And then looking to our northwest, we've got this area of low pressure that's sitting and spinning over the northern plains. That's bringing some rain and snow to portions of Minnesota and into Wisconsin. This will all kind of push over into the Great Lakes, and a lot of this will pass to our north. So we're not expecting any shower activity from that particular system. We've got high pressure off to our east, kind of centered over the eastern seaboard there, and that's what's keeping us on the drier side, and that's what's helping bring winds from the south as well. So that's why we're starting to finally warm back up. It's been on the cooler side for much of this week, and now we're seeing temperatures finally topping back out in the 70s. We started off with some cloud cover earlier this morning, and now we're starting to see some of it fill back in. Again, a lot of it is that higher level wispy type of cloud, those cirrus clouds, so it's not really blocking out much in the way of sunshine, but it is causing some filtered sunlight through the rest of this afternoon. And temperatures have warmed up due to that sunshine and winds out of the south, hitting the low to mid 70s across portions of western Kentucky. 75 degrees there in Dundee, 73 in Madisonville, still sitting at around 69 here in Evansville, generally around 70 everywhere else. Over the next few hours, we'll tack on a couple of more degrees, topping out at around 74, 75 degrees later this afternoon. And with that cloud cover dissipating overnight tonight, temperatures should begin to drop back down into the mid 50s. So partly cloudy skies, southeasterly winds increase as we head into Thursday. So we're going to see even warmer temperatures by the time we get into tomorrow, topping out in the upper 70s, maybe even some locations closer to 80 degrees, especially across western Kentucky, and with ample sunshine. So no issues with the forecast through tomorrow. Then as we get that frontal boundary to drop in from the north Friday afternoon into Friday evening, we'll see a couple of those spotty showers, perhaps a rumble of thunder, and some of that may even linger into the day on Saturday as well. But it does look like most of us will be dry at least through the weekend, outside of a few of those spotty showers. And temperatures will remain in the mid 70s through Saturday before topping out in the mid to upper 80s by the time we get into Sunday. And now our previous record was 88 degrees here in the Evansville area. So depending on how things trend over the next few days, we may have to bump up that forecast a little bit more, and then we'd really be in competition with that record high. So we've already set one daily record high temperature for the month of April so far, so we likely may be looking at another one headed into Sunday. Now, speaking of the weekend, a lot of folks talking about wanting to mow their grass. It's that time of year. It's growing back pretty quickly, especially with that rain we just got over the weekend and all the sunshine we're seeing. So it's growing fast. You definitely want to get out there and mow it. And I think the next couple of days, this afternoon, tomorrow, will be perfectly fine. And I even think most of Friday morning and Friday afternoon will be fine. It's really as we get into Friday evening that we see some of those spotty showers possible. So that's why it's only fair. But then we'll start to dry back out through Saturday. So you'll be all good to go to get some lawn work done. But if you are going to be outside, make sure you keep those tissues and that allergy medicine handy, because it is so warm and dry out there right now. Pollen is at an all-time high. We've got high levels of pollen expected here even through the first half of next weekend. And with the spotty nature of those showers for Friday, it doesn't really look like it's going to help tamp that down all that much. It's not really until the beginning of next week that I think we have better chances for widespread showers and storms that would help kind of alleviate some of that pollen. So you're going to have to struggle through it for the next couple of days. I know I'm definitely feeling it in my throat and my nose today. But taking a look at Friday, as I mentioned, we've got that frontal boundary that's going to be sliding in from the north. Most of the day on Friday is going to be just fine. We'll notice an increase in that cloud cover through Friday evening around dinner time. And then as that front kind of sets up just to our south, that'll help guide in some of those spotty showers, perhaps a rumble of thunder there through Friday night and into Saturday morning. So nothing special about it. It's just a couple of spotty showers through the first half of the weekend. But we're not expecting any kind of severe weather here over the next few days. A lot of that remains off to our west and to our north. Here's that risk for today, and then here's the risk for tomorrow. We're not even included with any general thunderstorm risk until we get into Friday. And again, not expecting severe weather at this point in time. We just don't really have all the ingredients for that. But looking ahead to next week, it does look like, at least with the more active weather pattern, we may have a couple of instances where we may may see some at least strong storms headed into Monday and Tuesday. A lot of the severe weather threat, though, still remains off to our west, even through the beginning of next week. So we don't have any alerts, and we're not outlook for any severe weather at this point in time, but we will be keeping a very close eye on it over the next few days. Now, taking you through the longer range models here, here's the GFS. Through Saturday, we had that frontal boundary pass through, and much of the day on Sunday will remain dry as well. It's maybe overnight Sunday into Monday, we could get a couple of those spotty showers, and then as we get into Tuesday, some more additional showers possible with those frontal boundaries passing on by, and then Wednesday, we'll have another system move into here that may even clear the area by the time we get into Thursday. So overall, while it's not going to be raining every second of every day next week, we do have that potential for at least a couple of showers, perhaps a few storms each day through Thursday of next week. So it's getting a little bit more unsettled, so definitely enjoy the dry time and the sunshine while we have it. Again, the rest of this afternoon going to be just fine out there. We're looking at partly cloudy skies, mostly sunny by the time we get into tomorrow, topping out in the upper 70s through the end of the work week there, and then building into the mid 80s, possibly even upper 80s by Sunday. We're looking at maybe even record-breaking heat there if we get to see some warmer temperatures, or if it trends warmer. That previous record is 88. We have a forecast of around 85. And then with those frontal boundaries and multiple chances for some showers and storms, temperatures will ease up a little bit, but still remaining in the lower 80s at least through Tuesday. So that is all I've got here for the forecast. I'm going to hop off the live stream, and I'll send you guys over to 14 News at 4, 5, and 6 for the latest news and weather headlines. And then, of course, Jeff will be back here again tonight at 9 o'clock for the All Weather All Stream show. So until then, everybody, have a great rest of your afternoon.